Hello, welcome to another chat on creativity. This is a series of hangouts, I guess I'm doing with different people who I think are interesting. They're doing something interesting online. I thought they might be interesting for other people to hear about. Basically, I've got questions I want to ask them, and I think you might be interested in their answers too. So today, I'm joined by Sean, and I used to think your surname was Lacey, but it's clearly not. So, how do you
No,
say
it
your
is.
surname? It
Yeah,
is.
Lacey. Yeah, Lacey.
And of course, I have a call. Lacey. Okay, great. Sean, why don't you tell people a little about yourself, what you do, and so on?
Sure, absolutely. I live here in the United States, over here in Washington State, the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Born and raised here, moved to Texas when I was about 20, 21 or so for a full-time ministry. I worked with an organization called Teen Mania Ministries in their internship, and really had a kind of life-changing experience while I was a teenager through one of their events, and felt like God was calling me to go and serve there for a year. Turned out to be 2 years. Um, it was great, very hard, definitely stepping outside of my comfort zone. Most of the kids that were there were 17, 18. I was 21, 22, 23 by the time I left. And so it was a little interesting having some people that were a good handful of years younger than I was at the time, and hadn't lived on their own yet, hadn't had full-time jobs yet. And so it was a very different life experience going into it. But the Lord taught me a lot. He humbled me a lot. He gave me a lot of direction during that time. And of course, he introduced me to my gorgeous wife while I was there. And instead of it just being 1 year and going back to the beautiful Pacific Northwest, it ended up being marriage and then kids and then 10 years later. And finally, here just a year ago, this last October, we ended up moving back up here into Washington State. My wife's originally from Michigan, which is a very different climate. And so we have kind of settled in here a little bit. I'm shooting this out of my garage. We've moved 3 times since we've been here in a little over a year and a few months. And so we getting used to living inside a city, which we've always lived outside of the city, and so that's been interesting. But I work as a full-time systems administrator, system and network administrator for my day job, and that's a lot of fun. It really is. I was always one of those people that had a hard time sticking with something because I would dive into it, learn way too much about it, and then I would just get bored because there wasn't a challenge ahead of me anymore. And so once I actually made the full-time switch, because I've always done IT in some way, shape, or form, whether it's been I'm the IT guy of the office, even though I don't have the official title, or I build and repair computers for friends and family. I've always been small business minded, entrepreneurial. I think I started my first small business when I was about 15, 15, 16, something like that. That's always been something that's a big passion for me. And so making the full-time move into IT was a kind of a way to always have a constant challenge ahead of me. Technology is constantly moving. Technology is constantly needing changes and updates, and that's really where I found a great niche for my skills, my talents. And over the last, I'd say, 5 years or so, he's really developed a heart for using that technology as a ministry, being able to use the ability I have to understand technology and interpret it into a way that the layperson would be able to better comprehend what's going on, and kind of help them weed through the 1.5 million tech articles that are in front of them to really find the ones that are important for them. So I do that a lot on Twitter and on Facebook and such, just friends, family, anybody who's interested, just kind of posting those articles and writing about technology.
I just realized I was on mute. I'm having a great technology day today. I was just going to say, yeah, that's great. We both, for in case people don't know, we both write with Church Mag. And that's, I think I met Sean via the Church Mag Minecraft server was my first encounter, which if you like Minecraft and like Church Mag, you really should check out. But
Absolutely.
But Sean's joined us as a staff writer, and so I thought, yeah, and he also has his own other website on called Redeeming Fatherhood. I encourage you all to check it out, redeemingfatherhood.com. And so we'll talk about a few of those things as well as your day job. So I thought the challenging thing, the thing about searching for challenges was that you said was really interesting, because I know that I've been reading a few things recently about the importance of challenges. So have you heard of Flow by Michael someone or other? His surname's incredible. He's Hungarian, and his like you see his surname and you're like, okay, Flow.
No, I don't think I have. I'll have to look it up.
It's great. It's this idea that it's this really deep, rich idea actually, that people are most satisfied when they're when they have challenges ahead of them, things which push them but don't push them too much. It's that kind of state of where if something's too easy for you, it's boring. But if something's too hard, it's stressful and overwhelming. But if it's in this state of flow, then you get consumed by it. You're so focused on it, and it feels really satisfying and enriching. So would you say that with technology, you find that it helps you with this kind of flow idea, the challenges?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, without knowing a whole lot about it, yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that, you know, if I'm faced with a very hard challenge, it takes me out of that flow. So for me, you know, I struggle to call myself a creative, because as I've grown older, I've realized that I'm not as creative as I am able to manipulate someone else's creativity. So other people come up with a lot of great ideas, and, you know, they can draw, they can write music, and I'm a musician, but I don't flex that in a way that I'm writing new music. My wife writes new music. I can replicate music really well. I can you know, I can do what's already been done, but for me to just come up with something new off the top of my head is a struggle. But within that flow, me working within my skill set, you know, especially if I am in technology, you know, there are seasons when I'm not reading blogs, I'm not keeping up to date with technology news, and if I'm within that parameter, if something new is introduced, something that's a very big challenge for me, I love big challenges, but it definitely takes me out of it. It almost sidetracks anything else I'm working on. I have to then focus all my attention on this new task, this new big task. And it usually doesn't take me too long to kind of fit that into the flow. But it definitely sidetracks me if something is too hard. But yeah, if something's too easy, I I almost don't have time for it in a sense. Like mentally, it's always, ever since I was a kid, and I got in trouble with it constantly as a kid. But if I wasn't challenged, if I didn't have a task presented to me that interested me, I wanted nothing to do with it. And that was horrible for school. That was absolutely horrible for school.
Yeah, as a teacher, I am so aware of that issue. Like we have, you know, within a group, obviously we're quite fortunate. We can group a lot more based on ability rather than just on age, unlike most schools around there. But even so, you'll still have people who there's a task that you'll have kids, especially where there's a task And for some of them, it's so easy, and they just do it. And but they still don't know it until they've done it. And then others will find it a lot harder. Is someone joining us?
Yes.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Yep. Oh, this is my son, my 4-year-old son.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Well, very appropriate
for you. Yeah. This is life. This is life. Yeah.
So I mean, how do you balance? Like, you do writing on the side, and you've got your YouTube channel as well, which I haven't even mentioned. How do you balance doing all that with a job and with being a parent? Like, I as someone who doesn't have kids, I can't imagine how to do it.
Yeah, it's, honestly, it's all about priorities. That's a big thing. Priorities and communication, I think, are the two very big things. When it comes to these guys, letting them know what daddy's about to do. He was sleeping when we started this call, and so now that he's waking up and wandering in here like a orange-fisted zombie, he'll go back out and he'll watch cartoons with his sister who's in her high chair. But it's with my wife. I let her know when we first had this conversation about us doing this podcast. I let her know this is the time. This is when it's going to go from. So just to give her a heads up so that she knows what's going on. So if it doesn't work with our schedule, then I'm able to reschedule. So that's big for us.
Do you use a shared calendar? Because my wife and I have tried using a shared, like, she can see my Google Calendar events. I can see her Google Calendar events as well. Do you do something like that?
I for a technologist, we actually keep it very, very analog. So we have a physical calendar that she keeps up to date. She manages that calendar, and it's out in the open in the kitchen. So I'm able to look at that throughout the week. If something new is added onto it, I kind of peek at it and see what's going on, just to kind of get an idea. But every night as we sit down, we pray with each other every single night. Before we go to sleep. That's just kind of been it's turned into this rhythm for us that every night before we go to sleep, it's the same thing. We pray together. I kiss her on the forehead, and then we say good night. And then that's good night. A lot of times I'll then get up and go out into the kitchen, go out into the living room, and then I'll start writing. Then I'll start recording. Then I'll start doing these kind of things. So there's this period after we go to sleep that we're able to do that. Now, I try to keep that to a minimum just because she doesn't sleep very well if I'm not in bed with her. But right now, especially, we have a 2-week-old little baby, and so there's not a whole lot of sleep going on.
It's 1 year baby.
It is 1, yes, but he's 2 weeks old now. Almost 3 weeks old. 3 weeks old tomorrow. Wow, that's crazy.
2.5.
2.5 weeks. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very
but
true.
Yeah, that's so much just communicating that ahead of time. So if I know, because not only do I do all of this, but I also run a business doing web development, web management. And that's like, I've got a full LLC for that. And that's where the majority of our side income comes from. And so doing those updates and such.
My name is Megan.
Can you go eat your cereal, buddy? Can you go eat your cereal with Ellie?
No. I want to watch it.
I know. It's a lot of fun and it's very interesting, but Daddy wants to be able to focus on this, okay? I'll come in there in a little bit and we'll play the race car game after I'm all done. And then we're going to go over to Chloe and Adeline's.
Oh, yeah. That was way...
Oops. Pick up your orange.
Oh, no.
Pick up your orange. Orange down. It's okay. Boom. Dirt's gone. Go for it, bud.
Is that the sequel to Black Hawk Down? Orange Down?
Orange Down, yeah. New movie. Go on, bud. Okay, I'll be in there in a little bit. But that communication is very, 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 very key with my wife. So the last thing you want to do is sidetrack her with playing video games or doing a podcast at 5:30 in the morning, and those kind of things. A wife who doesn't have an expectation of that happening may have expectations of other things happening. So the last thing you want to do is have that become a problem, become an issue within your marriage. As far as time is concerned, how I make time to do these kind of things, I don't. I mean, that's really like my priority is my family first and foremost. All of this stuff, my full-time job, my part-time jobs, my writing, my media creation, my media creation, all of that kind of stuff is second to my family and what we do. So if I have to drop one of those other things because my family needs me, they know that they're the priority and that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that comes through quite a lot. Like I thought it was interesting, the sort of your YouTube channel, Toddler Craft. It's with your son as well, isn't it? Like you both, and I thought that's quite a nice way, because it's a way of like bringing someone else into what you're doing. You're bringing your family into something else. And I heard, like, I'd spoken after, I think there was that and something else I saw. And I'd spoken to my wife, maybe there's something we can do together, you know, trying to leverage that part of me, which likes doing things on the side, likes creating things, and part of her, whatever her interest was in something like that. And at the moment, she's just too busy. I mean, today's Saturday. She's got a course and she's not here. So that's why I can do a podcast right now, because I know I can. But
And you guys are 6 months? Is that what I heard?
6 months yesterday, yes.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah.
So it's still early days. And
you guys have plenty of time. And, you know, this is this time before kids. You know, if kids are in your future, awesome. They are amazing. It's not anything to rush into. We took a year when we first got married, where we said, not only are we not going to be focusing on having kids, that's not even in the picture for the first year, because we want to have time together. But we also stepped down from ministry. We stepped down from a lot of our responsibilities. We literally took a kind of a year, was it Shabbat? A year where we are taking a year aside to focus on each other, because, you know, we know each other, but there's a huge difference between knowing your girlfriend, your fiance, and knowing your wife. And not just in the biblical way of knowing your wife, but in knowing who she is, and that 24/7 connection that you are going home to her. You know, it's not you're going home, having a few moments to yourself, and then going to her. Like it's unavoidable. And so we spent that first year really focused on those things, and it was really healthy. And we recommend it for absolutely anyone we talk to who's getting married. And those who have already been married, you know, it's so important to have that time. But, you know, content creation, doing fun things like that together, you've got more time to do that now than you're ever going to have. Just because you don't have to juggle, you know, a toddler jumping in at any given time. But at the same time, you know, do it. If it's something you're both passionate about, it's so important to do it. But if it's not, you know, it's nice to be able to bring her into something that you enjoy. You know, with our kids, this is part of it. I'm bringing my son into this because we enjoy playing Minecraft together, and I'd talked with friends, and we'd played in, you know, have some friends over, and we're playing and having fun and laughing and realizing that the enjoyment of doing this could be shared. You know, we don't stream video. We're very particular about how our kids are seen and viewed on the internet. That's one of those things that my personal Instagram is private, and it's private because I don't want pictures of my kids splattered all over the internet. Redeeming Fatherhood has a Instagram account, and I post, typically speaking, the backside of my kids' heads and cute photos and things like that, where I'm quite intentional on not posting pictures. My Facebook, where I post most of our kids' pictures and such, that's completely private and locked down. You know, very, very particular about where our kids are. but he loves playing Minecraft. He loves playing video games with me. And it's more than just playing with daddy, which some of the games are. It's just fun to be able to sit down and play video games with daddy. I did that with my dad when I was a kid. You know, those are some of my greatest memories, is sitting there in front of the old TV and playing the original Nintendo, you know, playing Super Mario Brothers and Fester's Quest and Galaga and all these fun games that I just loved as a kid. But being able to share that in the modern media has been incredible.
I think there's this, I don't know if you've seen this video by Jeremy Cowart, where he talks about we are the start of our digital scrapbooks or something like this. Like the idea that generations in the future will be able to look back and see the stuff that we have put out today. And I think part of that is part of that's exciting. No problem.
Yeah, let's put the mop back, and I'd like you to. Like I said, I'll be out in a bit.
I want to mop the house all around the house one more time.
It's okay, buddy. We'll mop later. Right now, if you just want to watch some cartoons for a little bit longer, then we'll definitely have some fun. We're going to be leaving here in a couple hours here to go play with some friends. So, if you could put the mop back and stop mopping the garage, that would be really helpful.
Just mopping the house.
No, let's leave that in the garage.
I just was mopping the house one more time.
Okay, put it back up against the wall there, and then go ahead and head back inside with your sister.
Yeah.
Okay? Thanks, buddy.
He would rather mop than watch cartoons.
Hey, I'll take it.
I'll give it. Yeah, I think maybe we should wrap up soon, because I think it's about the right sort of length of time. But I guess
okay, sure.
I guess if I had another question to go for, what are you excited about at the moment? Anything. What are you excited about?
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm very, very excited about our new little son. I mean, that's incredible. You know, this is a new little one, and seeing the reaction from our kids is just awesome. You know, they absolutely love him. And yep, there's another one. They absolutely love him, and seeing that excitement is really encouraging. I'm also really looking forward to, as far as my digital presence, you know, I'm always kind of constantly in a state of rebranding. And so recognizing that it's not realistic for me to be constantly adding, hold on a bit. Recognizing that it's not realistic for me to be constantly adding videos of games with my kids. I'm going to be doing some rebranding for my gaming channel so that I can have a little bit more gaming of me, and then having kind of a playlist in a sense where it is the kind of the Toddler Craft mentality. So we're able to get games where I'm playing with my kids as an offshoot of a gaming channel, where I'm able to post more videos of Minecraft and anything else that I'm playing at the time. So that's very exciting for me right now, and just this kind of constant ever-changing pace of the dad life, and what that means for me as I'm introducing new things to my kids, and my kids are introducing new things to me, and you know, it's just a lot of fun.
Brilliant. That all sounds great. Well, thanks again, Sean, and I hope anyone who's been listening has enjoyed this.
Yeah, absolutely.